Hello and welcome to This Inspired Life. My name is Andy Taylor, and in this video I'm going to talk you through 7 things that I think it's important, actually crucial to focus on as we go through our journey towards the outcomes that we want to achieve and towards our goals, if you choose that language. Now, just to give you some background, you will find various versions of this throughout the internet, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, all across the internet, on websites, because basically every single coach or every single professional in the personal development space is going to have a version of this to share with you. This is just mine. These are my opinions. This is my understanding. This is what I've come to know and learn based on my own experiences and that of the people that I've worked with closely. So with that out of the way, I'm going to start by saying that these are in no particular order, but I've just basically listed them 1 to 7. Okay, so number 1, commitment. Now, a version of this that I've seen so often, it's actually probably the most common version of this particular one, is if you want to be doing what you love to do, something that you're passionate about, then you need to work twice, if not 3 times as hard as everyone else. The principle of it, I kind of get, but the actual linguistics of it, I've got to disagree with, because if you're doing something that you are truly passionate about, then it shouldn't feel like work. That's my understanding anyway. It's the fact that when you're doing something like I am producing these videos for you guys, never feels like work. It's hot some days, particularly today, 32 degrees. So that's Celsius. It never feels like work though. It's never a struggle. I never have to wake up in the morning and think, oh God, I've got to record another video today. I wish I didn't have to. It never feels like that. It doesn't ever feel like work because I'm committed to doing it, because I want to get these messages, my voice out there to you guys, to give you as much information as I can that's going to help you to go out and live the life you've always dreamed of. So for me, the important one here is that I've changed it to commitment, because when you are doing something that you truly love to do, as I say, should never feel like work, but you should be committed to doing it. You know, commit to it, just as you would in a relationship, just as you would in your parenting. You commit to being the best father in the world. You commit to being the best mother in the world. You commit to being the best husband, the best wife. Okay, so for me, commitment is the right word to use here. And I think once you have maximum commitment to what you're doing, everything falls into place, because nothing ever feels like work and the results will flow. May not be overnight, nothing ever is, but they will get there, they will flow. The results that you want, the success that you want from your professional endeavors will become a most amazing, wonderful side effect of doing what you love and committing to doing it. The second one is fear. Now, I'm going to do an entirely separate video. I'm actually probably going to record it after this one on fear, because there are 3 primary fears that hold us back from my experience. And like I said, there are case studies on this, and I've worked with a lot of people about this too. So the 3 primary fears that I've found to be true are fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of success. Right? Now, fear of success always, to me, from the first time I heard reference to it many, many years ago, always struck me as being, why would anyone be scared of succeeding? But there is evidence to prove that it's the case, and I'm going to go into that now. So fear of failure is a fairly obvious one, right? You would have thought so. There's so many books written on feel the fear and do it anyway. Susan Jeffers is a really good book. I love that book. But there are all kinds of courses about overcoming fear of failure, and, feel the fear and do it anyway is a good example of that. And I've always found that a more to the point approach, whenever I've been afraid of doing something, I've always taken a more blunt approach. I mean, one of my favorite personal development books of all time is by John Parkin, and it's called simply Fuck It. right? It spawned a series of books afterwards, but Fuck It is my favorite book because it's basically if I'm feeling a little doubt as to whether I should do something and I'm holding back, it's a case of, do you know what, fuck it, and just do it. And then what will be, will be. So that's fear of failure. We all fear failing, okay? At some point or other, we feel that we're gonna not succeed and we're gonna feel bad about that. But what it all comes down to is judgment. Okay, so even though fear of judgment and fear of being judged is a separate one on this little 3-part list, it's also included in fear of failure. Because if you fear failure, it's not always for the sake of failing. It didn't work. I'm scared of it not working. No, you're scared of it not working and looking like an idiot. You're scared of it not working and your parents being disappointed, or you're afraid of it not working out for you and your wife being disappointed, or your husband. Okay, that's where the fear of failure really takes on an edge, is when you combine it with fear of being judged too. Okay, now fear of judgment is, it's pretty much what it says on the tin. You are scared of stepping out of your comfort zone and people looking at you differently. People that you've known for years suddenly avoiding talking to you. Suddenly looking at you as if, well, who do you think you are? Right? That's fear of being judged. Now, you may not ever have thought about it in those terms, but that's essentially what is happening, is the fact that you fear that people you've known for a lifetime suddenly see you a different way and respond to you differently. The third one, this is the funny one for me, it's fear of success. Believe it or not, this is one I really had an issue with getting my head around when I first heard it. Let alone taking it on board and using it and pushing it and teaching it to other people. But fear of success is real, because, and I blame society for that. I blame the social programming. Do you remember we talked about the matrix in a previous video? The reality that society wants us to live in. Well, it's that I blame for fear of success in a lot of cases, in most cases, I would say, because we are taught, the school system teaches us, our peers teach us, our parents, our families teach us that we should be a certain way. So if you step up and you fly high, the fear is not that you succeed, but that you succeed and people think differently of you. So it comes right the way back full circle to fear of judgment again. So you can fear success because you have this idea in your head which society put there and which your upbringing put there, that anyone that makes $1 million a year is a dick, right? They have to tread all over other people to get it. They have to really take advantage of the little guy to make money. These are all preconceptions that we have in our heads. These are all preconceived notions that really we just need to get the fuck rid of, because they're not helpful. They are holding you back. And, in future videos, we're going to be tackling that. Trust me, in the next couple of days, I want to put a video out that helps you to tackle those obstacles and those blocks. Okay, it's going to be like a series, because there are basically 9 different obstacles that I've identified and other coaches before me have identified, which I'm just expanding on their work. And yeah, so I'm going to be doing videos in the future, in the next few days, based on those, to help you kind of eliminate those and get through those barricades that have just sprung up that are potentially holding you back from releasing and experiencing life on your terms and living your true potential. So stay tuned for those. But so fear of success, it's a case of these social programming has told us that we need to be a certain way, and success means certain things. So when we succeed, we're afraid of succeeding and being shunned. So it always comes back to judgment as well. So it's an interesting one I found when I put those pieces together, because fear of failure, fear of success, you would imagine they're standalone, but they all essentially come down to fear of being judged as well. Now, the third one that I want to talk about is habits. Very simply, if you have a set of habits that you do on a daily basis, on a regular basis, the reason they're habits is because you don't have to think about them. They are so habitual, they're automatic behaviors. Now, there can be negative habits, bad habits, and good habits. Okay, so what we need to focus on and what we all need to try and understand is the fact that it's important to identify the habits that are preventing you from being who you want to be and living the reality and creating the mental construct of the reality that you want to be real for you, because your habits are not helping you. All right. So if your mental construct of how you want to be in the world and your outcome for your life is to, we talked through the life vision the other day in a video, and if you focus on that and you've created this life vision where your perfect average day is that you get up and swim at 7 a.m. for 30 minutes. If you're someone who loves a lion, that's going to be very difficult to achieve, let alone maintain it over time. But it is still important, because if you're in less than peak physical shape right now, I'll be kind. To me, not just everybody, not just anybody else, but to me too, I'm in less than peak physical shape right now. And if you have this idea, this vision for your future, your perfect average day starts at 7 a.m. with you doing laps in a pool. And yet you love to press that snooze button. And, if you don't have a job to get up and go to, if you're doing what you love to do on your terms, and it's your perfect average day, remember, and you also love to lie in till 9 o'clock or later, then the incongruence there is going to stop you. It's going to hold you back. So what do we do about that? How can we overcome that? Well, basically, it's habitual behavior. So these are habits that we formed over time. And just as they're habits that are formed over time to get you where you are right now, in order to get you into a situation where your perfect average day can be a reality every day, then we need to change those habits. We need to instill those habits, and we need to practice them, because practice leads to mastery, right? So we need to practice our habits. We need to essentially push ourselves to change a behavior once and then just reinforce it. And it's really important, and the reason why I wanted to put the video out the other day on the perfect average day exercise is because that acts as a really good magnet. Because rather than feeling you're being pushed somewhere towards a future that you don't want, when you can create your own compelling future that you do want, that acts as a magnet and it pulls you towards it, which is so much more powerful. So with that being said, it is important to start to identify the habits that are preventing you from achieving that now and preventing you from making progress towards that. And also to, as we talked about again in previous videos, we talked about the fact that nature abhors a vacuum. So you can't remove a negative habit and leave it blank, because the negative habit will just creep back in. So what you need to do is we need to create a positive habit that's going to get us where we want to go. And what we need to do is we need to do like a sleight of hand, a bit of mental sleight of hand with the habits. So as you remove that one, you put that one in the place. And you will tend to find that that one being in place as soon as the other one is removed is a really good technique to use, for the simple fact that your brain, your conscious mind, doesn't really have time to think about it too much. It's going, oh, what? And you can just practice the new habit to the extent where it becomes habitual, where you don't have to think about it at all. So I want to move on now to the fourth one on my little list, which is emotions. Okay, now we talked about emotional intelligence in a previous video, and if you haven't seen that one, I recommend you go and watch it. All my videos are really good content, and I'm obviously going to say that, but please check them out, because it's really important that, I get these messages out to everybody, and I want everyone to be able to access this information without feeling that there's a financial barrier to entry. So that's why all of this stuff is going up on YouTube, and it's going up for free. So, hey. So emotions are really, really critical. And what a lot of people fail to realize is that mastering your emotions is not something that can be done in a blink of an eye. The mastery of your emotions takes time, and it also takes practice. So when situations arise where your instinctive reaction is to be angry or frustrated, after time, with practice, you can replace your default setting of anger and frustration to one of understanding and being able to just let go, right? Not letting it affect you. And that sounds really easy, and it sounds easier said than done, in fact, but honestly, I believe it's the way forward, because when we can master our emotions, that's just a very brief example. And without taking a lot of time going into it in detail, there's no more really that I can say on that, is the fact that just work with your emotions. So where if somebody is having a bad time of it and they do something to irritate you, for example, they might say the wrong thing when you're having a bad day because they're having a bad day. Just understand that you're not the only one that has bad days. And just understand, be able to take that step back that we talked about in emotional intelligence and see that they're humans too. They're human too. So they're going to have bad days too. So don't take offense. Just understand. Be compassionate. Be there for them. Right? So mastery of emotions takes time and it takes practice. And speaking of anger and frustration, takes me back to fear just briefly, because what I've come to notice is the fact that behind fear or underneath fear, fear can genuinely be hidden by anger and frustration. So you might feel frustrated at a set of circumstances when in actual fact what's going on is the fact that you are afraid of what that might mean. Right, so it comes back to the fear of judgment thing. I just wanted to put that in there as I thought about it. So we're on to the fifth one now, which is everyone has their own agenda. And this kind of goes with what we were talking about when we were talking about emotions, in as much as everybody has their own agenda. Everyone is here on this planet and they're doing the best that they can with what they have, whether that is their own level of intelligence and intellect, or emotional intelligence, or just awareness. Everyone's doing the best they can for their own reasons, right? And the sooner that we understand that, the sooner that everyone understands that, the less other people's behavior is going to affect your state of mind. Okay, so the sooner that we can understand that everyone is working towards their own agenda for their own reasons, the sooner we can just relax into life and just be able to just let things pass more easily, and to be able to understand that, okay, so, they're doing their own thing because they've got their own reasons, they've got a family to support, so they're going to do what they need to do to get ahead. That means that they trample on me on the way up, then that's more to do with them than it is me, right? Now that might seem like an attitude of someone that, enjoys to be stepped on, but it really isn't, because the sooner you let go of any resentment for somebody doing specific things that affect you, while understanding that it's because they've got their own agenda. Now, whether that's, an admirable agenda or whether that's a purely selfish agenda remains to be seen. We can't see into other people's minds, sadly, but it's a case of, just understanding that they're doing things for their own reasons and just letting go of any kind of resentment to people. It just makes your life a lot more pleasant. So the sixth thing is possibly the most important. Actually, no, I'm going to say it's the second most important. And that is the fact that it's all about the journey we're on. Okay, so the journey from where you are right now to where you want to be, so your desired outcome, that journey is going to involve you growing quite substantially from the person you are right now to the person that you are for that outcome that you need to be, that you want to see yourself as in the future when you achieve that outcome. And it's not about the achievement, because you might feel fantastic when you achieve a specific goal, but that passes, that fades. You know, I know countless numbers of people who have hit financial goals and gone out and bought their Aston Martins or Ferraris or Porsches. And honestly, after about 6 months, they're bored and the cars just sit in the garage. So be very careful of getting too hooked on the outcome, too hooked on the goal or the objective, and focus more on the journey, because it's the journey that really is the important part here, because it's the journey that changes us. Because we change along the way, we learn, we grow, we expand our awareness and our consciousness, and we expand our ability to perceive the world differently and perceive people differently, which can expand our emotional interactions with people. And the second you let go of trying to bottle all that up, the quicker you will realize that life is just this beautiful journey that we're on. And we really do need to just relax into it and just enjoy it. Now, the last one on this list is pretty key. It's pretty important, and it's very, very simple. Have fun. Okay? Life was never meant to be a slog. It was never meant to be this hard task that we have to work our asses off and feel tired and overwhelmed and depressed and stressed and anxious every single day for 50 years, while we're working our asses off to build up a pension so that we can retire and maybe spend 10 or 15 years enjoying it. Really? No, I don't think so either. Because life is not designed that way. Life was never meant to be that way. But this is where a lot of Eastern cultures, a lot of Asian and Middle Eastern cultures have it nailed, right? So living conditions from the Western point of view, for what we're used to, you might look at some countries like India and Burma. I'm showing my age now, sorry. So India and, Korea, Vietnam. We might be looking at South Korea, we might be looking at those countries thinking, oh, they're third world countries, they're developing countries. And, the actual standard of living is not very high. But when you think about it from non-acquisition terms, so from a non-stuff, get the money, buy the stuff mentality that we're so used to here in the West, you can really see that they are the ones. Those are the cultures that have the essence of what life is about down, because they are happy most of the time. Westerners, a lot of people I know in the UK, across Europe, in North America, even to an extent in Australia and New Zealand, basically it's an even mix of being happy and happy-go-lucky and having fun and feeling really down, depressed, and as if their back is against the wall. Where's the fun in that? Really, wouldn't you rather just live a life that every morning you wake up and you've got nothing to worry about because you know that you are taken care of, right? And it goes back to what we said in a previous video about self-care. When you wake up in the morning and you go through your self-care ritual that I talked about in that video, and you can work through that and come out and wake to the day and really get into the day from a perspective of, what can I do today that's going to make me come alive and be fun? What can I have the most fun doing today? Or how can I have fun doing this today? And especially if you are currently working a full-time job before starting your own thing, if you intend to start your own thing, if you're working through the final months or year maybe of your job before you can go out on your own and live your life on your terms, why not do it now? Why not why not be in the car or on the train or on the bus or however you get to work, smiling at the fact that no matter what happens at work today, I'm going to have fun because I'm going to make it fun. Now, if that involves sitting in management meetings making silly faces and making people laugh, hey, do it, go for it. But seriously, having fun is the key to all of this, because when you can have fun as you grow as a person, as your life unfolds before you, and as you know that everything you're doing is driving you towards achieving those objectives, you're completing projects day to day to day, achieving those objectives. And as you achieve those objectives, you're getting ever closer to your outcome. When you live your life with a sense of fun and enjoyment, no matter what, it's just so much easier. And as the word says, fun. You can just achieve so much more when you have fun than when you worry about it, when you worry about the outcome, and you worry about, oh, but what if? The what ifs are going to happen, whether you worry about them or not. So you might as well just have fun while you can. And then even when the what ifs come up, have fun with them too. Just ask yourself, okay, so that just happened. How can I play with that? How can I have fun with that? How can I do something that's incredibly entertaining and incredibly fun for me and other people that gets me around that or through that or past that? Whatever it is, just have fun. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Leave us a like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, go check out the other videos, and I will see you again very soon in the next one.